We are back inside at the computer and we're going to start going through the worksheet. Please make sure you have the worksheet either up on your screen or a printout so that you can follow along with me. Okay, so we're going to start with evaluating a new order. So we have here our product information. So we normally work at 80% capacity. And at 80% capacity, we are making 80,000 units and we're selling them for $800,000, meaning we sell them for $10 a unit. 10 or $800,000 divided by 80,000 units is 10. We also have our product cost information and our selling information or selling expense information. All right, so that's all well and good, but now we have a customer. And our customer wants to buy 10,000 units and they want to buy them for $8 a unit. So we are going to assess whether that makes sense. So we have capacity. We're only at 80% capacity, and this will put us up to 90%. But we normally sell for $10 a unit. So our first instinct is probably to tell this person to go pound sand. No, our price is $10 a unit. But if we're already at 80% capacity selling everything we can sell, we're meeting market demand, and so this is new demand, we may want to consider it. But we want to make sure, first of all, that we're not going to disrupt our current relationship with our customers, right? So you can imagine if you're a customer and you're paying $10 a unit and you find out that we're selling to someone else for $8 a unit, that could be problematic. But maybe this new customer is in another region where we don't normally sell into. So there's not going to be a lot of cross-contamination between our customers. Or maybe most of our customers only buy a few hundred units at a time, and we have a lot of customers. And we can justify giving this customer the $2 a unit discount because they're going to buy 10,000. So it's what we would call a volume discount. Anyway, those are all non-financial things we have to look at, but let's look at financially if this makes sense. And so to do this, we're going to say, well, what would be our contribution margin? And we're only looking at the contribution margin because we're working under the assumption that our fixed costs are already being taken care of by the 80,000 we're making. So we've fully allocated our fixed costs to the 80,000 units we're already making and selling. So since they're fixed, we don't necessarily have to attribute them to the products that we are considering perhaps selling for $8 a unit. Okay, so our sales would be 10,000 units if we got into this deal times $8 a unit. So we would have additional sales. Oh, we're going to want to format that. Let's just make it dollars. And that's the wrong way. Okay, so we would make an extra $80,000 in sales. Our direct materials would be the 10,000 units we're selling times $1.65 per unit, because we're still going to have to use the full amount of direct materials. Our direct labor is going to be our 10,000 units times $3 a unit for direct labor. Our variable overhead is going to be our 10,000 units times $1.50 per unit. And our variable selling is going to be our selling costs times 0.03. Okay. The 5 cents per unit is assuming we're selling at $10 a unit because commissions are 3% of sales. And I think commissions are supposed to be 5% of sales. I think that would make more sense. Let me see. Yeah, that's going to make more sense. Okay, so then this is going to be our incremental sales times 0.05. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, so it's going to be our incremental sales times 0.05 because we pay commissions of 5% of the sales dollars. All right, so then we're going to add up our variable costs. $145,000. Oh, I shouldn't have included the 80,000 in there. So our variable costs, just the cost, not the sales dollars, are going to be 65,500. So our contribution margin is going to be our 80,000 in sales minus our total variable costs. So if we agree to this deal, we are going to add $14,500 to our contribution margin. And because we've already covered our fixed costs, that's going to go straight to profit. So we have the capacity, and we have, and we're going to make money. So as long as it's not going to disrupt our existing sales or in our existing customers, I say we go for it. How about you? All right. So let's do a second example. And if you want to pause the video and try this one on your own and then come back, you're more than welcome to do that. All right, so now we have another customer, and they want to buy 20,000 units for $750 a unit. So we're going to do plus 20,000 times 7.5 to get our sales. And again, we need to change this to dollars so that makes sense. Okay. Our direct materials is going to be 20,000 units times $1.65. Our direct labor is going to be 20,000. Oops. Creepers. All right, times $3 a unit. And our variable overhead is going to be 20,000 times $1.50 a unit. Our variable selling is going to be our $150,000 times 0.05 because we're paying 5 cents. Commissions of 5% of sales. So our total variable costs are going to be $130,500, and the contribution margin on this sale is going to be $19,500 added to our bottom line. So we're thinking, all right, yeah, that sounds pretty good. If $14,500 was good, $19,500 would be better. All right, this was a trick question. The customer wants to buy 20,000 units, and we are already producing 80,000 units, and that puts us at 80% of capacity. So an additional 20,000 would put us at 100% of capacity. As a general rule, you do not ever want to commit to running at 100% capacity, because what if there's a holiday? Or what if one of your machines breaks down? You have no way to recover from that if you've committed to running at 100% capacity. So as a manager, you're going to have to sit down with your team and decide what makes sense. 80%, 90%, 95%. You have to decide, and that's really based on how reliable your operation is. How often do you have people calling sick? How often do you have machinery breakdown? How often do you have unexpected holidays? You have to decide what it is, but it's not 100%. If you are committing yourself to running at 100% capacity, you are going to have problems, and yeah, you don't want to do it. All right, so what's the lowest price we can sell for, assuming we don't have these capacity issues? So if we want to do that, then we have to figure out what are our total costs. Okay, so we'll just, in fact, let's copy and paste this from up here. So what are our total per unit costs, variable costs? And we find out that our variable costs, product costs, are $6.15. So if we want to break even, we have to take that 6.15 and we have to multiply it by 1.05 because 0.05 is, that's how much we're going to pay in commission, right? So we want to make sure if we're covering all of our costs, we're covering not only the cost to produce the product, but the cost of commission. So we're going to multiply by 1.05, and when we do that, times 1.05, so that's to get back 100% of the product cost plus the 5% commission, we find that the lowest price we could sell this for is $6 and basically 46 cents, right? So if we had an opportunity and someone came to us and said, hey, can we sell this for $6.45, we would say nope. If they said, can we sell it for $6.46, maybe if it was a great opportunity. I mean, we're in the business to make a profit, so I think that would be cutting it a little close. $7, sure, we could do that. But maybe this is going to get us a foothold, right? Maybe this customer is in Brazil and we are dying to get our product into Brazil. So to be the first to market, yeah, we can do 646 or 647. Yeah, I guess that would be 646 and break even, kind of with the anticipation that we'll be able to, once we're in Brazil, we'll be able to build our customer base. So there's not a right or wrong answer here, except we don't want to commit to producing at 100% capacity, and we certainly don't want to sell for less than $6.46 a unit, because then we're losing money, unless we make a conscious decision to do that. All right, so that is how we assess a new order. In the next video, we are going to talk about if we're going to scrap or rework. I'll see you then.